Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026, and this is my view of Danny's garden today, starting with the potatoes. And I let this sunflower come up and it's about ready to open, so we'll see in a few days. But otherwise, I try to keep this weeded. It's a little stressed this year because of the weeding, but the potatoes will start to die back here and then we'll start to harvest, but maybe not for a couple of months. We're not sure yet. Then the onions, and that'll need to be weeded again. They're coming along. There's some that are fairly big. We usually don't have good luck, but here you can see a couple of white ones poking out. And then the beets, I'll just go over the middle of the potatoes here. I dug some up, so here's my beets. I replanted some. I have a bunny friend that really likes to eat my beets, and I need to get in here and weed it out. There's some beets in here, but also here's this volunteer tomato that came up that I've let go, and some dill. There you can see the big dill, the beet leaves coming up. Then coming over to the peppers. We've got some coming up in here, so I'll be able to pick those soon. And then the celery. And here's the bell peppers coming up in there. Then coming up over into the brassica, the cabbages. These are kohlrabi, and they've kind of gone to tops, so I don't know if I'll get much out of them. I might have to pick them back here, but here's the broccoli coming. Looks pretty good this year. There's a few heads of it in here. And then the cabbages. So starting in here, and I don't use 7 dust, I just try covering. So I do get some worms, some butterflies that escape me, but for the most part, they usually do pretty good with the covering. And then here's the beans. I've had one picking, and I'll start to can here pretty soon. But here, they're fairly long, hand size. We try to get, there's about 3 varieties that we usually use, and kind of have combined. And now this is seed that has just come, that we've saved from our garden from last year. Anymore, we just save the pods and replant. We found some varieties that we liked. Here's another one that is a longer bean. Probably usually about 7 to 9 inches are the beans. Here's the cucumbers coming, and I'll see if I can find a couple. We do have some disease. I try to remove those leaves that are really bad, but this is an English variety, so probably about a foot now, I would say, and I'll pick this soon. This is generally about what I have for this variety. And then there was a variety that was a oh gosh, what is this called? I'm not quite, I don't remember, but it was supposed to be a longer variety too, and it's dealt with disease a little bit better than the English cucumbers that I had. And then here was supposed to be like a pickling market more cucumber. Here's some that have formed on there, or one. Sorry. And then they're all in bloom now and climbing up the fence, so and over. And then here's the beans climbing over. And then we go into the peas on the end of the cucumber row. And then finishing out the beans on this side. This is the side that we, goes up through. We have to push the water through a little bit better so they don't get as well watered. You can see the beans curl at the ends and probably don't get quite as long, but still good for canning and eating. And then here's the 2 rows of tomatoes with Danny's supports now, so that he generally likes the indeterminate varieties that grow up. And they're starting to fill in, and then I usually tuck them in so that they fit into his cages if I can, and get them to go up and into there so that they fit in and keep growing up. And let's see if we can get some really good. Here's where they're starting to produce, and they're starting to fade to that golden color before they ripen. And here's the far north row, sorry. I was gonna say south. So here's another good view of this plant. Generally he likes the bigger slicing varieties and the paste varieties for canning. So we grow generally about 35 plants per row, so somewhere around 70 plants. And this finishes out. I let a dill come up. Sometimes I'll do that. I don't know, like I did the sunflower. And then here's the carrots and carrot row along with the melons, muskmelon. There's a few little ones that are starting to form on there. The watermelon are what's coming first here. There's one, and then there's a couple more here coming up. And then coming over into the squash, the pumpkin squash, they're starting to fill out too into fruit. And then the corn is all tasseling out and the ears are filling up. Those should be ready here in a couple weeks, middle August, so a couple 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So that's the garden for Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. Thank you for watching and being with me. Bye.